everybody, and welcome back to another episode of What the Femme podcast. I'm Marie Dement.
I am Birdie Holly.
And we are back for another Femmeisode.
Ooh, it's a
It's
Femmeisode.
a Femmeisode.
Y'all.
It's a Femmeisode. It's a sode for the femmes, as
Yes.
is, you know.
What soda would Femmes be? I feel like cherry Coke
Who
or
would play her
something.
as a soda? Yeah, let's make a cocktail for femmes right now. It's pink, right?
Yes.
I mean, I feel
Sorry,
like this
I'm looking at
happens in like what, your pink lid?
Yeah, it looks like something gross is right there. And I'm like, is that mold?
Oh my God, pull
I
that
just
out of
pulled
your
it out of.
thing immediately.
Ew. Oh, I think it's
Yeah.
just. Oh, yeah, that's gross.
Ew.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Disgusting.
to-
I just pulled it out of the freaking dishwasher.
fine,
I
don't cut this,
assumed
don't
that
worry
it was
about it.
clean.
Well, you about to have
Disgusting.
to take that motherfucker off. Gross.
Anyways, well, now I'm like.
Anyway, well, yeah, be careful, man. Yeah, look at
We're
your
good.
fucking straw. Oh, okay, good.
Okay. Anyways,
Okay,
sodas.
great. We're here. Sodas, cocktails, femmes. What would it look like? We've seen 6,000 iterations of this
We
at
have.
shows. It's
Yes.
pink. It's usually got champagne in it. It also has some form of a clear liquor, gin,
Yes.
tequila, or
It's true.
or vodka.
Someone make a femme drink that has whiskey in it. Cowards.
Cowards! I'd say that's a whiskey sour, but with like grenadine on it.
Yes.
Done.
Yeah. It has
That's
to be
it.
pretty. I want
That's the
glitter.
tweet. You want glitter in it?
Yes.
You know, there's
I went
glitter
to,
wine.
okay, would not recommend anyone going to do this, but I did it. Went to the ice cream museum in Austin.
That's right.
Complete waste of time. However, I did have my first drink that contained glitter in it. It was very exciting, and I want more of those.
More glitter in our
More edible
alcohol,
glitter.
please. That is
Yeah,
so
it was
funny.
a lot of fun. I took like a little shot, and it had like glitter in it, and I was like,
You were
wow.
like, I'm
It's
drinking
made up
magic.
I am, and it made up for the complete waste of time that museum was.
Man, but I thought those pictures that you posted were really cute.
It's basically a $50 ticket into influencer Photoshop land.
Oh, so it's a photo booth space.
It's a photo booth space.
Got
The fact that they call it a museum is laughable because there's like a little plaque on each room that's just like, ice cream was invented at the World's Fair. Anyways, have fun taking pictures.
Yes, that's exactly it.
We were like,
I wonder if that's
only
how
one
they, like,
ice cream was given to me
what
at the very
it-
beginning.
And it was what?
And it was like a little tiny thing of frozen yogurt. And it was very good. However,
Small
disappointing.
serving?
Yeah. And then they were
Small
like, oh, there's
serving.
like treats in each room. The next room, they gave me a singular gummy worm.
What?
It's like, what does this have to do with ice cream?
What? How large was this gummy worm?
Standard gummy worm size, like straight out of the like
Pulled
bag.
out of a trolley bag or whatever?
Yep, exactly.
Jesus
And I was like,
fucking
all
Christ.
right. And then we went into the next room and they gave us cotton candy. And I was like, okay.
Okay,
Then
that's
that
a
was
slight
it.
level up. See, I
Oh,
think
and
I
then
got you.
the drink at the very end. But they really, like, at the beginning, they were like, make sure you spend a lot of time in each room exploring, because there was only 4 rooms and they were very small.
Have
I was
a great
like,
time exploring. Exploring
waste
what?
of time.
Exploring what, my dude? No.
No.
Well, I'm very
It's
sorry.
literally,
that
it's
you
okay.
did that.
Anyways, glitter and drinks.
Putting it
Very
in a drink.
exciting.
Absolutely. Well,
Would like to
maybe
see
we
more of
should.
that.
We'll make our own cocktail. We're trying to do more YouTube type things, so maybe that's a video that we'll do too, of making whatever our femme cocktail is, the ideal one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
The
that's gonna
idea.
be the moment.
The deal.
Maybe a Twitch stream, who knows? We'll do it all. But you know, we're here to not only talk about fun marketing things that we're going to do in the future.
Yes.
We've got all kinds of lovely things prepared for you today. As such, it is a Femmeisode. Therefore, we've got a topic this week, which is something I am very excited to talk about.
These are my E's.
I love it. That's so good. Yes, our little
Yeah,
E's. We're trying to be
E's.
better about ASL.
Yes.
This is the letter E. Erogenous zones, everybody. We're
Erogenous.
at the letter E.
Ooh.
I was worried for a long time that maybe I was spelling it wrong, and it actually started with an A, and it was going to be all for naught, and then it was fine. Like in my head planning, I was like,
you were like,
what if it's spelled with an A?
oh no.
But it is not. It is
Surprise. It is
Right.
spelled with an E, thankfully.
Yes.
Thankfully.
Thankfully. I think there's actually the Greek word, yes, coming from the Greek word eros, which is for love, and then English genus, well, the English suffix genus, which is producing, from the Greek genus, which is jeunesse, born. I'm sure I'm
Je ne sais
pronouncing
quoi.
more like Jeunesse. I'm sure. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't speak Greek. I really do not. But yeah,
But like
that
it's
is
hard. Just kidding.
what?
It is
Like it's
very
hard? Like, I'm sorry.
yeah,
I'm looking at
actually
this
it is
word
really
right
hard.
now and I am seeing some symbols that I do not recognize that you probably have to use an alt code to
Yeah.
type if your keyboard isn't set to Greek.
It
So
was I've speaking of help me out language major, what are those little dudes on top of
symbols,
word
which
symbols on
ones?
top of
Accents?
like the little yeah, I guess.
They're accents, yeah. The like the umlaut and
Mhm.
the tilde and the lines and the yes, they're
Yeah.
all
When I
called
was
different things.
when I was attempting to learn Japanese, which I gave up very quickly, I was like, this is
Precious.
too much.
So hard.
This is a whole other
Yeah.
system,
Yeah.
characters, too much,
Yeah.
but it
Their
was fun while it lasted. But like yeah, they're like little basically like ew. Yeah, like it's like the way the inflections were basically like little
tones.
directions and tones and
Mhm.
stuff, and I was like, cool. I like that a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, that's how we were taught. There's accent aigu and accent grave, and you're supposed to look at them as like going up the mountain or going down, and that also signals like
Like
the
how you
tone of your voice.
yeah.
And it's not necessarily because it also obviously depends, right, on like the letter placement. We are not here to discuss languages. We'll get to it, but we'll get to it. But yes, these are all things that they teach you
Yeah.
in using accents. So
So
these
anyways.
accents have created words, eros, and jeunesse to create
Jeunesse.
erogenous.
Yes.
And we're excited to talk about that today. We've got some fun bi-weekly bits prepared for you as well. We were discussing before the show, this Cosmic Kool-Aid report is going to be a spicy one.
It's a spicy. Why is it spicy?
Spicy meat. Why is it spicy?
Why is it spicy? That's my
Why
best.
is it spicy?
Yeah, it is a spicy boy.
It's a spicy, meaty boy. Yeah.
So I'm sure you guys know. Just came out of, because this will be on the full moon will have been over by this time.
Oh yeah.
But I'm sure you will have felt the feelings,
the feelings.
Surrounded by this full moon. So full moons are all about
oh no, wait. Hey, it's not your turn yet for the Kool-Aid. No, it's fine.
I got excited.
I'm just giving highlights. I'm sorry. I know we're all
No,
very
it's okay.
we haven't done
I
an
was like,
episode in
so let's
forever.
talk about it.
Let's do it now.
I will
just
wait.
giving total brief
Yes.
highlight of
Oh,
everything
yeah,
that
go
we're covering today because it is such good stuff. It's okay. I'll cut
Mercury
it out.
retrograde shadow period is real.
Yes,
Anyways, all right.
we are real and we are in it right now. So yeah, without any further ado, let's get into the motherfucking bi-weekly bits. First things first, we got an artist pick of the week, and I don't know if you've had a chance to check them out, Bird, but
No, show me.
Felicia Danelle. Yeah, let me open and share my screen. You've definitely seen this person's TikToks. They make great. They're like a makeup artist, cosplayer. They also have a really awesome Instagram. Yes,
I do know this person.
This look.
Wow, I love a Marge Simpson moment.
Yes, but like spooky Halloween. Let's watch this reel real quick.
But this is a real find.
Just buy it. You don't have to rationalize everything.
All right, I will buy it. It'll be good for the economy.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful. Yes, absolutely. So they're also a Twitch streamer. I guess they stream a different content, like gaming.
Cool.
But they're just have a multitude of looks, and
yeah, this is amazing.
Awesome to promote black cosplayers, especially black femme cosplayers, because representation is important, and anime and cosplay is not just meant for white people. Everybody, spoiler alert!
Very true. Spoiler alert!
Yeah, some super mega amazing stuff. So check them out. They go by Air of Glee on all of their social handles, or Gleemp, Gleemp. Their artist name though is Felicia Danelle. I'm gonna say Felicia Danelle. We will put their links and stuff in the show notes. So that's our artist pick of the week.
Beautiful.
Next up, now
it's time.
The sun has set and the moon has risen. Please welcome to the stage Cosmic Kool-Aid with Birdie.
Yes. So, like I was saying when I jumped the gun earlier, Aries full moon is lighting up our week this week. It will have happened on the day before you're hearing this around 7:57 in the morning, so we'll still be kind of feeling, the full moon. You get about like a couple of days, 3-ish days around it, like the day before, the day of, the day after. I feel like it's pretty like illuminated with the same energy throughout. And the moon is something called void course during this time too. So it might be, this full moon Aries, it's all about energy. It's all about initiation, movement, moving forward, propelling yourself forward. Aries is a cardinal fire sign. It is all about going and energy and initiation and the self and things like that. So, but it is void course, which is interesting because when the moon is something called void course, you kind of feel depleted. You kind of feel like you're kind of stuck in the mud. You can't really get moving. So I'm interested to see how that plays in with this highly energetic full moon that we're experiencing. So full moons are all about exhale, right? So new moons are moment of inhale, moment of planting the seeds and things like that. And then full moons are all about the exhales. So you'll want to see where the full moon is falling in your chart, what house Aries is in for you, to kind of see what illumination will be happening for you, what part of your chart will be illuminated. So for me, my 5th house is my Aries house. So it'll be a lot. Oh, I'm so sorry. My 6th house, which is all about service, Virgo things, because Virgo rules the 6th house. So it'll probably bring a lot of, so I always say full moons represent a 6th month culmination cycle, if you will. So going back to the new moon of Aries and kind of what your intention setting was like, what you were kind of experiencing during that time, and seeing how the cycle has been completed for the new moon in Aries, or for the full moon in Aries. So whatever was happening around your life going on, things that you were manifesting during the new moon of Aries, that was 6 months ago, kind of check back in with that time and see what things have come full circle, what things have, cycles that you might want to be ending, things to let go of, things to exhale, if you will. So yeah, and Aries is fire. So do some fire rituals, do some burning of things, get moving, things like that. You'll probably notice a lot of internal things. It's not you, it's me full moon. So, and it will be, because Aries, represents the self. It's the first sign of the zodiac. It's the baby of the zodiac. So really self-care, thinking, turning inward, focusing on yourself, looking at your own boundaries, seeing how you're showing up for yourself and how you're setting your own boundaries, and making sure that those things are looking good moving forward, and things that you can maybe slough off and let go of. So yeah. New moon or full moon in Aries. God, I can't get it straight. Also, let's celebrate for a minute all of these planets being out of retrograde. Finally, I feel like the fog is lifted.
Oh my God.
Yes, we're still in some shadowy periods, but
we need a Jamaican party
I can
horn
personally
right
feel
here
a
in
huge
this
difference. Yeah,
yes.
I personally can feel a huge weight lifted, but I'm also heavily ruled by a lot of the signs that were all in retrograde, like Jupiter, which rules my moon, Sagittarius, Virgo sun, Virgo, and you're also Gemini too. So you probably felt this Mercury retrograde big time because those two signs are ruled by Mercury. Saturn in retrograde. I'm going through my Saturn return right now. So yikes.
Yeah, big yikes. Oh, scary.
Yeah, so it has been a doozy, but I'm feeling a lot better this week. I was definitely feeling it last week, big time. But we also have more retrogrades coming up. Venus retrograde soon on the horizon, another Mercury retrograde anyways, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. For now, let's have a collective exhale. That is a very big theme of astrology this week, is exhale. Retrogrades are done. Full moon.
Release that shit.
Exhale, babies.
Way to go, everybody. Yeah, that is all par for the course. You know what I mean? I was, as you were sharing everything, I went, of course, to my nebula to check and see what my placement is.
Yep.
And my Aries falls in my 11th house.
Oh, house of friends and community and
which is, like pretty apropos, I feel like, just because of the last weekend's events and things, which thanks everybody for coming out to Rockers for Knockers. You guys are awesome. And yeah, and just how it talks about like relationships and friendships and like managing within community and whatnot, and
Yeah.
reminding me that often friends and associates are key to helping you achieve your goals. So
That part.
sounds like I'm going to get tested and asking for help and making sure that I am asking friends for help where and when I need it, which is very important. And
how you're setting boundaries and stuff for friends and how you're showing up for yourself in friendships and things like that too.
That's something that we've
Big
talked
stuff.
about a lot outside of
Oh
recording
yeah.
too. Of just
Constantly
constant
trying to figure it out.
woof. What a
Yeah.
big fucking woof. So,
But it's good.
Yay.
I don't know. I'm trying. Yeah. I'm working a lot currently within myself about what my boundaries look like and advocating for myself. And I'm really bad being also ruled by a lot of mutable signs, is like bending to other people and, you know, being like, oh, I can, you know, change my boundaries or my needs more so than boundaries, I would say. Maybe like, oh, like maybe it's too much, and being like, you know what, it's not too much.
It's not.
Your needs are not too much. Setting your boundaries for how you need to set them are good. I'm bad about communicating that though, so I'm trying to get better about communicating.
Same. Absolutely.
And things like that, but hard conversations. But yeah, conversations are good to have. I would maybe wait until this weekend if you're feeling confrontational, because full moon, not only is it in Aries, which is fiery.
Right. As soon as
Mars,
I saw that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, no.
Mars, which is ruled by Aries, right, is also going to be conjunct the sun. So the two fieries are going to be especially fiery. So maybe don't engage until you're cooled down a little bit. Try to, you know, if you're gonna, you know, trepidously. Did I say that word right?
With trepidation.
Yeah.
Trepidation.
Who
words? Do we have them? No.
No. Sure
Are
don't.
They hard? Yes.
Absolutely they are.
Yeah, no, I think you conveyed the message. Everybody just be real careful. If you've been wanting to talk about something, and maybe wait.
Yeah.
Maybe write a letter, journal about it. Do that first.
I would. Yeah. And just
be safe.
Just be careful. Be safe. That's a very be safe. Be careful.
You mentioned like
walk away if you're feeling hot and fiery.
That part.
If you feel any tension in the air, aggression in the air, verbally or otherwise,
perhaps
get help. Call someone. Walk away. Yeah, don't it could get bad.
To it, but yeah,
no. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm also bad. I have a fire moon and things like that. So this full moon for me is also very spicy. So do you. So it can be especially spicy.
It's a very spicy week.
I'm like, okay, let's not. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Engage.
So,
be mindful.
You know,
be safe.
Take it all with a grain of salt, but like be careful. But that's like the common theme anyway, right? Stay safe always.
Stay safe, yeah.
And you brought up agency earlier too, and that's kind of obviously like addressed in boundaries, and it reminds me of, and that ties into with what we're talking about today in our topic a little bit, you know, of maintaining your own agency and how it can be beneficial for you.
Yes.
In the zone, as it were.
In the erogenous zones, if you will.
The zone of erogeny.
We'll also be talking more astrology things.
Oh yeah.
When we talk about that too. So yeah.
I'm excited to learn more. That is very exciting.
Yes.
Okay, great. Sorry, any other bits?
I don't think so. Oh, Scorpio season.
Yeah.
Starts on the 22nd.
There it is.
And then we'll have a Scorpio new moon on November, it looks like the 4th. So look forward to that.
Yeah, we've got a full moon on Halloween again this year based on what I saw on my calendar.
Bruh, do you hear this cat?
He's really mad. He's
I know. I don't know where he is. Anyway, sorry.
No, you're fine. I'm just checking my calendar. I'm looking and
I think it's going to be more of a new moon from what it's saying on my calendar. It's going to be a waning. Wrong. You might be looking at last year's.
Oh my God, I am.
Yeah.
You're so right.
Yeah.
I was so confused. I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah, it'll be more of a newer moon. It'll be a little fingernail moon on Halloween. Let's see what's going on Halloween. Just for looking.
Just for a quick look. And the stuff we have planned for y'all for Halloween. the week of the Halloween when we release our episode. Y'all ain't ready. It's gonna be
No, I'm
delicious.
ready. It is gonna be delicious. I'm very excited.
Friday looks like
It might be a new
waning
moon.
gibbous. No, it's got a gift. She's got some nail on her. You're correct.
A little bit.
The new moon. Oh God, where is November?
Oh, November 4th. Yeah, it says in my little book. New moon on Scorpio, November 4th. Yeah.
Delicious. Beautiful tangent, everybody. Welcome to it.
But the energy around Halloween looks like it'll be, the moon will be in Leo, Virgo. It'll be transitioning. Anyways, we'll talk about it when we get there. But I'm just
we'll absolutely talk about it when we get there. But it's good to know for planning ahead.
Yes.
So by the time this comes out, we hope all of you have survived the full moon and Aries transition.
Yeah, you might also be feeling it while you're listening to this.
Hold on to your pants. Yes. Take some deep breaths with us. Have a good guided meditation. All of those things. Excellent. All right. And that concludes another series of Cosmic Kool-Aid with Birdie Holly.
Yeah.
All right. Before we get to our topic, I want to make sure that we cover our final bi-weekly bits, which is our community promotions. We wanted to remind everyone that this Saturday, Sunday, I think it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yes. If She Kills Monsters Virtual Realms is doing their release this weekend. So very exciting. Everybody be sure to check that out. I was supposed to be in the thing, but felt sick and could not attend. So that's what the super fun ad has been for these last few weeks, to kind of relieve myself of guilt for not being in the production. But anyway, it does. So this is She Kills Monsters, high noir, low camp murder mystery radio show, all done virtually. Our very own new to the show patron Lindsay Hall will be starring in the show. It's very exciting. Our own Julia Bodford and Ryan Davila, friends of the show, are also producing and directing this show, which is super exciting. So if you want to check out the show and stream from the comfort of your home, we'll put the link in the show notes of this episode so you can purchase your tickets today. I also want to make sure that we wish our one and only Tori Falcone a belated happy birthday.
Happy birthday, baby.
You beautiful Libra bitch.
You beautiful Libra.
I hope you had a great and wonderful birthday. We love you. We miss you very much. We know you are thriving. Simply thriving. That's all she's doing is thriving. Can't believe the growth. Can believe the growth. Very exciting.
Yes.
My how the time has passed. Also wanted to shout out Friends with Benefits for an amazing Sister Act fundraiser show at Dan Silverleaf last Sunday.
Yeah, that looked amazing.
Oh, that was a good time. Jupiter, thank you for bringing my sweet brother onto the stage. She was giving it this look. She looked at me and then at my brother and then looked at me and then at my brother. And I was like, don't do it, girl. I don't want to get on stage. And of course, she chose Hayden, which was perfect. And we loved it. So yeah. And that kind of does it. Yep, that concludes our community promos for this week and our bi-weekly bits for this week. Woo fucking who. And with that, we're going to take a quick break. Searching for answers? Wondering what's going on with your mental health? At The Gracious Mind, help is here. TGM offers identity-affirming, low-cost, sliding scale, and payment plan clinical services. Our team is queer, trans, sex worker, immigrant, deaf, and BIPOC allied, as well as available to provide interpreter services in ASL and English. Our clinic is proud to offer our clinical services to anyone in the following states through our easy-to-use HIPAA-compliant telehealth software: Alabama, Arizona, Colorado, Delaware, Georgia, Illinois, Kentucky, Maryland, Minnesota, Missouri, Nebraska, New Hampshire, Nevada, Ohio, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, Utah, Virginia, and Washington, D.C. You can also access opportunities to learn and grow from our team through online courses, workshops, videos, and articles. Shop books, journals, workbooks, zines, and gifts in our online shop. Explore the Gracious Mind and find the wellness you've been searching for at www.thegraciousmind.com. That's www.thegraciousmind.com. We're here to help you thrive.
Hey listeners, I've got an exciting new podcast coming to streaming apps near you called Media Psyched, hosted by yours truly, Dr. Aiden Hirschfield, media psychologist, consultant, and researcher. Media Psyched is all about our relationships with media, the cause and effect, and the incredible ways that we humans are using media to transform ourselves and the world around us. I'll talk about some of my favorite subjects, like video games, virtual and augmented reality, digital art, user experiences, the psychology of persuasion, cognitive dissonance, Gestalt theory, and why it all matters. I'm so passionate about media psychology because I know it has an impact on everyone and everything in our modern world, so we can no longer ignore its power and influence. That's been true for many years, yet many of us are just becoming media literate. That's a whole can of worms we'll definitely be opening up quite frequently, in fact. What's more, we'll be hearing from riveting and powerful stories about all sorts of mediums and technology from a diverse range of people from an infinite array of fields, backgrounds, and experiences, a lot of whom I'm really lucky to call my friends. And as a trans and queer identified person, I am dedicated to cultivating an inclusive space that uplifts and shares the voices and experiences of marginalized people. I'll talk about my work at the intersection of media and gender and sexuality, and bring in influencers, experts, and interesting folks to talk about all of these nuanced areas. So I hope you'll join me for Media Psyched, coming to your favorite streaming apps very soon. Subscribe on Spotify or Apple, or follow us at Media Psyched Podcast on Instagram for updates.
Great job.
Beautiful.
And we're back. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you had a nice break with our sponsors.
Yes.
When we're here to talk about erogenous zones.
Oh, touch my body.
Run
Roll
me
it
on the floor. Clutch my... My friends always used to sing, "Fletch my teddy and rub me on the floor." We don't know why. Just for fun.
I love that.
It's
I
a good
love
time.
any like a silly iteration of a song.
Exactly. But you know what? Mariah Carey is right. Touch my body
Mhm.
and then roll me on the floor. Because why? My body's covered in erogenous zone.
It sure is.
Sure is. So
Touch
this
my
is-
body.
this I feel like absolutely qualifies for being part of the sexuality series, even
Yeah.
though we've spent a lot of time talking about like different orientations and sexualities. So let's review. We've done A for asexuality. We've gone to bisexuality. We've talked about celibacy, which was a really fun little jaunt.
Yes.
And then demisexuality was a real good fun time and tied in with asexuality.
Yes, it did.
So now I would like to talk, I think we would like to talk about rather something that covers a little bit of everybody and that everybody can benefit from.
Yeah.
Because we got what? Erogenous zone.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
Yeah, very exciting. Okay, so let's define it, shall we? What the hell
Shall
is
we?
an erogenous zone? So
Tell the people.
by definition, an erogenous zone is a sensitive area on the body that causes sexual arousal when touched. Among the primary zones are the genitals, the mouth, nipples, breasts, butt, and anus. That's your booty hole, y'all.
That's your booty
In case
hole.
anybody wanted to know. However, we all know that the road to the erogenous zones is paved with all kinds of places that can be arousing to a partner because every human is different. Everybody's
true.
got ties in with, and I can't wait for us to get into the letter K, kinks and things. We've talked about this
Oh,
kind of in the
yeah.
past too, right? But like,
yeah, and that's kind of full circle, not full circle, but we talked about this in the past, but also how astrology can also maybe help you find your erogenous zones or
oh,
maybe
yeah.
yeah. So we'll talk about that in a
We
minute.
will definitely talk about that. So we've talked about, so those are the like primary specific erogenous zones that are like, here's your top 5. But did you know that there's also the back of the neck, your chest, your sacrum, arms, fingers, toes, and also armpits?
Do you know how many people I have heard say that they are so not so much they like their armpits being touched, but that they're very attracted to people's armpits. Like they like say they'll like see someone and then like a good armpit like really does it for them.
I want to
And
know
I was
what
like, I've heard that from
designates-
multiple people, and I was like, that's super interesting.
But like, what qualifies a good armpit is what I want to know.
Yeah, like what is is it like a deep
Is it
armpit,
meaty?
a hairy armpit? Like what kind of how? I guess it's kind of different for everybody.
Right.
But I have heard multiple times that people love an armpit, and I love that because
Secret
I was
Agent
like,
Femme
oh,
at gmail.com. Let us know what kind
let
of
us know.
armpit you're into.
What kind of armpit are you into? We would love
We
to
could
know.
make a little chart. That would be fun. Oh my God, what if we released a survey about please gauge your level of attractiveness to the armpit? Maybe we'll do that.
Please.
Oh man, we might. But when I saw the word armpit on this list, it immediately made me think of all of the portrait of a lady on fire sexy scenes. Because I guess there's like one part where one of the characters applies a drug to the other character's armpit to like increase arousal. And like the shot that they have is it is like super cropped in on the person's armpit. And it's like I got a finger in between the arm and the chest
you're
or
right.
sacrum. And
I don't remember this.
You see this? It's
I
in
don't remember
Portrait
this
of a
at
Lady
all.
on Fire, right?
No, I know. I
Yeah.
remember that movie, but I don't remember this part. And I'm like, how did
Well,
I not? There was
exactly.
a lot. It was a lot to take in.
It's a lot to process. You're just like,
I was constantly like not blinking. I was like not
Just
breathing, not blinking,
happening.
nothing. But I don't remember this part.
Well, I didn't necessarily either, but it happened to come up in like other like in research that I was doing for this, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And that still came up, and maybe we'll post it with the episode stuff. But it's intimate.
Yeah,
I could see why that could be of personal benefit. So
yeah. Oh
learn
wow,
something new every
sexy.
day.
I'm
I
watching
know.
it right now. Oh boy. wanna close that window.
We're gonna pause this episode. We'll be right back.
Oh, I'm gonna go take a cold shower.
Well, there you have it. Learn something new every
armpits.
day. So yeah, armpits. In actuality, there are in total like 30 erogenous zones that can be found on the human body that can lead to arousal. I have a really great Healthline article that's posted that also mentions the scalp, the inner wrist, the palms of hands and fingertips, and behind the knee.
Oh my God. Of course, you have to talk about the scene from Scott Pilgrim. The weakness was the back of her knees. And then she touches the back of her knees, Mae Whitman, and she like explodes into coins. And she's like, ah! Yeah. But yeah, I've heard that a lot of times, actually.
I have not heard of this, and my initial thought was like, if you tried to stimulate the back of my knee, I would probably like knee-jerk reaction kick you in the face.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's sad.
It's definitely like the thing about erogenous zones, I feel like, is that they're parts of the body that are like tucked away, not all the time, but like kind of like not super like exposed, or like, well, no, that's not true.
The
Actually,
vulnerable
palms of the
places.
hands used all the time, but
We
like,
don't
yeah,
talk about
vulnerable places. Yeah. So back of the knees is something that is not often like explored,
exposed in any ways.
exposed,
Yeah,
maybe. I don't know.
uncharted territory.
Yeah,
That's how we'll put it. Well, in this article that lists the 30 erogenous zones, they give little tips and tricks of like materials that you can use that can like effectively stimulate that area. And there is directions for the back of the knee, I'm pretty sure. So definitely check that out. Among the materials that they list, they talk about using ice cubes, using feathers, using heat in like safe ways, of course.
Sure.
And of course, the old-fashioned hand and tongue tool never fails. Never is a problem.
The tools you got sometimes. Yeah.
Just use the tools that we were born with.
Attached to your body.
Forever attached to the body. Wash your hands, clean your fingernails, though. Is all I have to say.
Yeah. Please.
Please and thank you. So I thought maybe we could talk about also the ways in which maybe we think we've connected with our own bodies in the erogenous areas. I don't know.
How it can be healing and stuff like that, I'm sure. And exploring your own erogenous zones, because it's always one of those things where it's like something can be like way more stimulating and like arousing when someone else is doing it,
versus like when you do it too, right?
Versus when you do it. But it is fun to use like other tools on yourself to like explore your erogenous zones and connect with yourself.
I actually found this really great research, this study. I will drop it in the notes as well. And it's a study that was, oh no, why can't I share it this way? So basically it is, here, I'll share my screen with you so you can see it. That's much easier. So these scientists tried to create a topography essentially of the human body and its erogenous zones as it relates to themselves and how it relates to their partners. So I'm really
cool.
glad that you brought that up, because that's exactly what this whole thing was about. So I guess they took like online surveys and they based excuse me. They based it on, they provided a lot of demographic information and then asked them to think about these erogenous zones like on themselves versus where they would rather be touched by, like with a partner. And then they also made sure to include in the demographic a gauge of like whether or not you were identified as like heterosexual or homosexual.
Oh, yeah.
And so these are the graphs that they were able to produce with their findings. And so the body on the left is obviously what you start with. And for those of you who are listening at home and aren't watching the YouTube video, there's 2 digitally generated figures. The one on the left is completely blank. And then the subject on the right is a picture of a body that has like heat maps basically on it and shows like where, I guess, the survey responses indicated where they felt experienced sexual arousal while having sex with a partner. So these were like the areas, which is pretty par for the course, areas that we've talked about before. And then they also included what it was like with like male masturbation with a partner, and then then with a partner for, I guess, for the sake of this study, male and female bodies, even though we can go into a whole conversation about that. And just really interesting to see where the heat maps
different
are.
Yeah, it's
on
super
people.
interesting. We should post this.
Yes, we will definitely post a copy of this. But yeah, the article itself is granted like 20 some odd pages long. They've got also like a cool map, and this is all just broken down to regions and distributions and I guess just the varying surfaces and how they are interacted with as erogenous zones through the self and with a partner. So cool shit.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, I do think that my erogenous zones for like with myself are a lot different than they are with a partner. And it's not so much that they're like, oh, they're like not there. It's like, oh no, they're just different. Because I notice like even like if I even like it's in tools of like self-soothing too, I feel like like I've noticed that touch and like touching myself not just sexually but also
but
just
like
like
in a
running like
soothing
my
way.
and like running my fingers like up and down the sides of my body or the insides of my body like this is like very self-soothing for me. But if a partner were to do that, like I have noticed that like some people like back scratches and things like that, like it doesn't quite hit the same, which is really interesting because it's all about nerves, right?
Absolutely.
So it's not so much about like maybe places that go untouched, but about like maybe places that have like a concentration of nerves.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Oh, cool. Because I was like, maybe it's not because it's like, yeah, like obviously like most of your body is exposed all the time, just in a different way, but it must have to do with, of course, nerves. Oh, great. Yeah,
absolutely. So that's the next thing I absolutely wanted to talk about was the neuroanatomy of intimacy and like how this relates to our nerves and like the science.
The thing I was the most excited thing to learn about.
Yes, right. Because like when you think about like the term erogenous zones, like my initial thought and reaction is like a Cosmopolitan article, or, or like a 17 magazine
touch
thing.
Your mate,
and just like so many things that do not
get an ice cube and stick it in your pussy. Yeah,
put it in your hole and then leave it. And you're like, oh.
But I will say though that my first introduction to like erogenous zones were through a Cosmopolitan article.
Right, like, shout out to them. It's the quizzes that
we're doing.
Me.
Yeah,
I'm like, all right. Jan, you took it a little too far.
Yeah, it's definitely like they were, maybe not problematic. That's a bit of a steep word, but I mean, it was like cool that the way that they like introduced me to that. I didn't really understand it, but now I do, obviously. But yeah, shout out to them for
I like to
introducing
the people of it as they like write the articles during the day and then they write the quizzes at night, like after they've had a bunch of wine, and they're like, all right, motherfucker.
Yeah, they do. That is exactly what's happening. Here's the real tea.
And this is what we're going to talk about. But yeah, that's what I think of immediately when I first like start thinking about like erogenous zones, is you hear about these kinds of things in like those kinds of editorials and 17 magazine, Cosmo. Because that's just part of it. Also, we're both femme people, so that's like
Right.
an
Of
inherent
course,
thing
we're
too. It's
things
built
that
into our
we,
society.
yeah,
and
it's
we're supposed
growing
to
up
read those
when we
things.
did, you were reading Cosmopolitan magazine in the
exactly.
dark, in the like hair salon.
Yeah.
When no one else was looking because your mom wouldn't buy
wasn't
them for
around.
you, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Mom's not around. Dad's not around.
Or you would
whatever.
sneak into your mom's room and like look through
Read
there.
hers.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So you obviously don't think about, well, I don't know, not obviously. From our perspectives, science is not the very first thing that we think of. As adults, I think it is now because
Yeah.
we've talked a lot about like science behind like the body and whatnot. And obviously we love researching these
Mhm.
things. So
Yeah.
curious as to see like what is it that makes it tick behind this stuff. So
Mhm.
as we were researching, I did find a little bit of information about the science behind it, like why the areas are so stimulating and like what makes these specific zones tingle. So in that research, I found they specified erogenous zones as like specific, they differentiated them rather as a group of specific zones and then a group of non-specific zones. So the specific zones were those primary 7 erogenous zones that we mentioned
Right.
earlier, the assumids,
Right. The ones that are
obvious
pretty
ones.
standard.
Like
if
it's
you
pretty
will.
clear.
Yeah.
That's going to be a good time if you interact with the zones.
Yeah.
So according to Dr. R.K. Winkleman, who is a doctor in the dermatology section at the Mayo
What a
Clinic.
cute name.
Winkleman.
Dr. Winkleman. Oh, anyways. That's really cute.
Absolutely. So he published a paper that I'll include in the show notes as well that talks about the erogenous zones and how the nerve endings work and connect in that way. So basically, in this primary or specific zone areas, they have a high density of what's called innervation, which basically just means there's a bunch of nerve endings there.
Mm-hmm.
And they maybe have an efficiency of wound healing and a capacity to stimulate generalized cerebral arousal. So essentially, those specific zones are also very vulnerable areas on the body and are also areas that need, and as a result of them being so vulnerable, they need to be able to heal faster.
Yeah.
So you think about like how
That makes sense.
I'm trying to think of what the other word is. There's like a scientific term basically for vulnerable. You know what I mean? Of like necessary, vital. There we go. So like it's all around vital organ areas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For
Or
most of
like,
these erogenous
or like
zones.
arteries or something. Like
Mhm.
that's like why like the tops of my like right by like your femoral artery, right? I'm like, ew, but my body's like, God, must
and then your
out the
body's
thing.
exactly like, please don't break this because you got
Please
20
don't
minutes
break
if
this,
you do.
which makes a lot of sense, like as to why like kinks and like maybe like if you like play that has to do with like impact play or something around those areas can be really like jolting and stimulating because
but,
your
like,
body's
stimulating
like
in a
must
good way.
protect.
Yes, exactly.
So interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really want to. Oh, I'm so excited to talk about how it connects to trauma too.
Yeah.
So because it's in that area, because they're such vital organ spaces and that your body tends to really want to protect them and have a lot of nerve endings to let it know that area needs to be protected or is or doesn't feel safe. That's why it is so stimulating or arousing for individuals when it's stimulated like in the right way that works with that person. And so then, of course, we also have the non-specific zones. So that's basically like any other area that people feel arousal in that aren't those vital organ areas. And so in these zones, the skin is similar to normal haired skin and has the normal high density of nerves and hair follicles. So you're not seeing a large grouping of innervation, as they called it. So the large grouping of the nerve endings. These areas specifically referred to the sides and back of the neck, the inner arms, the armpits, which we covered in detail, the sides of the thorax, also known as your chest. And then so as a result of, if you attempt to cause arousal in these areas, that's why you get a tickle and anticipatory response, because a lot of those areas, oh, God damn it. It's fine. It's fine. The reason why you get an exaggerated like tickle and like anticipatory response is because those areas are responsible for a heightened sensual response. And so what all of that kind of says to me is that these areas are all areas that in the wild are areas that would be targeted on a human body during like an instance of physical violence or like an attack. So thinking even back to like caveman areas. And so all of these spots, all of these erogenous zones, they're all connected to like our bodies, like, like inherent, its origins. God, I can't find all of my like science words today. You know what
It's
I
okay.
mean?
Again, we're still in the shadow period of
We're
the
still in
Mercury
the shadow
retrograde. I
period.
sound like a broken
Absolutely.
record, but I will continue to say it.
But we're doing it.
We're
But
doing
yeah,
it.
all of this is like, I don't know, like part of like our root selves, humans, whenever we were in the
Yeah, no, for sure. And I
hunter-gatherer
mean, like
things.
the where hair is on your body, those are all
Mhm.
very vulnerable places that your body is literally, trying to protect itself
Mhm.
in these ways. So it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I just thought it was really interesting that we have these, like all of these, again, vulnerable areas that are meant to help regulate our fight or flight system
Mhm.
that are also in turn opportunities for you to be like intimate with someone or intimate
Yeah.
with yourself and like arouse yourself in these places.
Yeah, because you're expressing and you're, it's very vulnerable to like
Mhm.
expose and give someone permission to inflict, kind of like either pain or explore these parts of your
Mhm.
body that are very, very vulnerable parts of your body. It's an exercise of trust and like
Mhm.
connection. So yeah,
Yeah, my
it
mind
makes sense as
immediately,
to why it's like an intimate thing that's shared. Yeah.
for sure. I immediately think of like dogs, like when they go belly up towards you.
Yeah. And you
They're
scratch their little spot and their little leg, like,
Yeah.
ooh, yeah.
But for real, that's like, I mean, it's, okay, maybe the term is animalistic that I'm thinking that reverts to like the animalistic self that's in
Mm-hmm.
humans, is like that is how we signal to one another in these intimate
Trust.
situations
Mm-hmm.
that are we trust you. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And open up our agency to you, which is kind of what I wanted to talk about now, like you had mentioned earlier, and
Mm-hmm.
about agency, and then also thinking about like trauma and how it lives in your body and like how it connects to
Yeah.
these erogenous zones, because we've talked in the past, about our own experiences and the topic of sexual assault and trauma and recovering from that has come up a
Mm-hmm.
few times, I feel like, on the show.
Yeah.
And I also think that I've talked about this book in the past as well.
Oh yeah, I feel like it's a pretty like a staple,
This is a
especially in the
staple.
queer community, because we love to heal.
We love to heal.
So yeah, this book is very well known within the
Yeah,
community. For
we're
sure.
just walking big balls of trauma, right? Especially us poor baby queers. You know what I mean? All
Yeah.
of us,
Mhm.
baby or otherwise. So our life is nothing but a journey of trying to heal from that trauma.
Mhm.
And so this is a book that, granted, was written by a really shitty person who
Yeah,
went on
unfortunately.
to invoke trauma on his own employees. So I want to recognize that he himself sucks, but his work was really important at the time, and I'm sure there are plenty of other resources of people who have covered trauma that are not him.
Yeah.
But The Body Keeps the Score by Bessen Vanderpolk is a really great book. I'll put a link to it in the show notes, or pick it up from your independent bookseller, honestly.
Mhm.
And in this book, Vanderkolk talks about the different ways that trauma manifests in the physical sense in the human body, as well as how our nervous system is built to battle it and then can inherently be interrupted by these instances of trauma. And he talks a little bit about how it regards to intimacy. He doesn't necessarily specify like erogenous zones, but you can kind of get the idea. And
Right.
so I just wanted to read a couple of excerpts from this little section that he has, and how he's got a whole chapter in this book called The Body Brain Connection. So again, I encourage y'all to read this book. I would also say take it at your own pace, because
Yeah.
it can be kind of triggering.
Heavy.
And
Mhm.
yeah, there's a lot of heavy stuff that can be covered. It could be triggering for you and your own traumas that you've experienced. So just like be ready for it. Step away when you can. I've literally had this book for over a year and I'm only halfway through. So
Yeah.
don't think that, you're like, if you don't read it all the way, you're not a bad person for it. So in this chapter about the body brain connection, he has a section that's called A Window into the Nervous System. And so he talks about so our nervous system breaks down into a couple of different systems, some of them being the autonomic nervous system, which is the sympathetic nervous system that acts as the body's accelerator. And then we also have the parasympathetic nervous system, which serves as the brake. So you've got accelerator and brake, car analogy, things that are good to know. The sympathetic nervous system is the one that is responsible for arousal, which also includes the fight or flight response. So talking about, you have those points on your body being associated to indicating whether or not you are safe. The SNS, so the sympathetic nervous system, also known as the SNS, moves the blood to the muscles for quick action. And then in the second branch of the ANS, the autonomic nervous system, is the parasympathetic, which is around emotions as well. It also promotes self-preservative functions like digestion and wound healing. So again, your erogenous zones, they heal faster. They're regulated by for that reason, for the wound healing. Let's see. It also talks about the like chemical releases that you experience as acetylcholine, which is what is your brain releases to put a brake on the arousal. It also slows your heart rate down, relax your muscles, and returns your breathing to normal. Darwin pointed out feeding, shelter, and mating activities all depend on the parasympathetic nervous system. So when that's not regulated, right, you have trauma that lives in the body, and then you can't necessarily, and so I think that really connects back to like when we talk about trauma and how it like lives in the body, and how like being touched in those certain zones can be like triggering for your trauma in a way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that's the little bit of the science behind it if you're not aware. He also goes on to talk about what's the section's called the neural love code, and it talks about polyvagal theory. I won't read all of it. It's a lot in here, but look up polyvagal theory as well. It's a really interesting topic. It refers to your polyvagus nerve. And so polyvagal refers to the many branches of the vagus nerve. This connects to numerous organs, which includes the brain, the lungs, the heart, stomach, and intestines. It gives us the understanding of the biological of the safety and danger, one based on the subtle interplay between the visceral experiences of our own bodies and the voices and faces of the people around us. It explains why a kind face or a soothing tone of voice can dramatically alter the way we feel. And it also clarified why knowing that we are seen and heard by the important people in our lives can make us feel calm and safe, and why being ignored or dismissed can precipitate rage reactions or mental collapse. So there is that. And
interesting.
Yeah, he goes on to talk about how humans are so attuned to like the emotional shifts in people, and just like how attuned humans are to themselves, as well as the like visual reactions and like facial expressions and things, and how much humans are in tune to other people's emotions and reactions through our body language, and obviously also through our actions.
Right.
So that's super interesting. And so the last thing that I wanted to round it out with is this section on safety and reciprocity. So again, being rewarded and feeling safe, and being rewarded and having agency is super important. He goes on to say that he mentioned the Dalai Lama, who said that for every act of cruelty in this world, there are hundreds of small acts of kindness and connection, which is sweet. His whole point was to say that to be benevolent rather than malevolent is probably a true feature of the species. Being able to feel safe with other people is probably the single most important aspect of mental health. Safe connections are fundamental to meaningful and satisfying lives. Numerous studies of disaster response around the globe have shown that social support is the most powerful protection against becoming overwhelmed by stress and trauma. The critical issue is reciprocity, being truly heard and seen by the people around us, feeling that we are held in someone else's mind and heart. For our physiology to calm down and heal and grow, we need a visceral feeling of safety. No doctor can write a prescription for friendship and love. These are complex and hard-earned capacities. You don't need a history of trauma to feel self-conscious and even panicked at a party with strangers, but trauma can turn the whole world into a gathering of aliens. So that was, I don't know, I thought it was a really good point to be like, erogenous zones are really important, right? It's really great for us to feel stimulated and to have those connections and know how each other's body works and react to touch. But like, I think it's a really important part of the conversation to be like, if you're engaging like with a partner and they have a visceral reaction to touch in a certain area, it's important to like honor that too, because it could be
Yeah.
connected to like a traumatic experience for them
Right.
that they're still healing or going through.
Yeah.
But
Very important. Mm-hmm.
I also feel like it'd be like it's a really good like playground out before having like actual sex with someone to kind of like connect
Yeah.
and learn like each
Mm-hmm.
other's
Without being, like without
boundaries.
penetrative sex or something like that. It's a really
Exactly.
cool thing to do. Yeah. To share intimacy with someone that is not overtly, sex.
Immediately penetrative sex. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So,
Yes, we love intimacy.
yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, and I wanted to touch too on it from an astrological
Oh my
standpoint.
God, would you please? Yes, please.
Yeah. So we, the different signs in astrology are all kind of coordinated to different parts of the body. So just to run through them really quick, Aries is the head. Taurus is the neck and throat. Gemini are the lungs, arms, and shoulders. Cancer is the chest, breast, and stomach. Leo is the heart and upper back. Virgo is the abdomen and the digestive system. Libra are the kidneys and the lumbar region. Scorpio is the genitals. Sagittarius are the hips and thighs. Capricorn, knees and bones. Aquarius, calves, shins, and ankles. And Pisces is the feet. So knowing all of this, going in and checking in with, any stellium you might have, or the fifth house of your chart is what signifies creativity, sex, pleasure, things like that. So seeing what sign your fifth house falls in, and maybe seeing how that connects to maybe some of your erogenous zones, some of your favorites, maybe some you haven't thought about exploring yet. But yeah, so looking at maybe your Mars sign, what your Mars falls in, any stelliums you might have, or, rising sun, big energies that are in your chart, and your fifth house, seeing kind of what signs fall into those placements and to kind of see and understand more about your own erogenous zones from an astrological standpoint. So yeah.
Look at that. How about that? Yeah, mine is in Libra, so I'm like, all right. I'm trying to get through this ad so I can learn more.
Yeah. So like things that have to do with your back and like that part of your body. My fifth house is Pisces. So feet. Feet. Yeah, feet are definitely something that when it was first explored, I wasn't expecting to feel such a like intense reaction to it. But it checks out for sure. My Mars is in Libra, so also like my back and things. I like the back of myself touched and my neck too, and things like that. And then, Virgo Scorpio also plays into that too. So like that's probably why I like to touch my own stomach and stuff and like run my hands up and down the front part of my body and in my stomach and on the sides of my stomach to kind of help soothe me. And that kind of gives me like some ooh feels that are really comforting to me. So yeah. Just kind of exploring your chart, and seeing where those show up for you, and it's a fun little way to explore. So yeah,
cool. Absolutely. Damn, astrology do be everywhere.
It do be everywhere.
It do be everywhere.
You can bring it in anywhere. Just
you
ask
really
me. It's so true how it can show up in so many different ways. I sure will.
Sure, fucking.
Let's talk about it.
Hell yeah. Damn, I think that was a really great conversation about that today. I feel very learned about
I really like that we talked about it because I was very curious to know about the scientific breakdown of it too, and like why these areas are very like stimulating for people, and that makes a lot of fucking sense.
Makes sense. I feel
makes a lot of sense. Yep, makes a lot of sense. Nerves,
cool, great,
protection. Well. Yeah, and that's really cool to see. Yeah, how those little spots are directly related to intimacy and vulnerability, physically and almost said emotionally, immaculately.
Immaculate. It's so intimate. It's immaculate.
And good at words.
I have many of them. I have a language degree in not English. Let me be clear.
But
yes. Hell yeah. Well, I hope everybody feels more learned about their own zones.
Yeah.
Please enjoy exploring your erogenous zones. Explore them with a partner. Please ask for consent beforehand.
Yes.
As always.
Go slow, babies.
And that about does it for us this week. Any shows you got to promote? Anything you got coming up you want to share?
Yeah, I have a show on the 28th. Oh no, the 29th. The 29th. I have a show in Fort Worth on the 29th. It's going to be a spooky Halloween show at
Friday
the Red Goose
before.
Saloon in Fort Worth. It's going to be a really fun and good time. Everyone should come out and watch me be spooky. I am resurrecting, if you will, my Lady Macbeth number, and I'm also going to do a spooky sultry number as well. I am very excited.
Yay! That will be fun. We'll make it a group event. It'll be a good time.
Come
on down, everybody.
To the Red Goose Saloon. Yeah, it's a good time. Y'all should come.
We'll put links to. I bet you can get tickets online now, right? They're still on top of their shit, right? Delilah, right? Delilah producing the show.
Big D, Birdless.
Right.
Double D.
Double D.
Yes, Double D Productions. Yes, Delilah Dubois.
The one and only Delilah Dubois, past guest of the show, sweet baby angel.
Yes.
Shout out to you.
Wonderful human.
So we'll get the link to the tickets and put those in the show notes as well. So you can join us in Fort Worth. I will most certainly be there. It will be a great time.
It's going to be a good show. I'm really excited.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Also, just wanted to make sure to mention, don't forget about Murder at Action Lanes. They are continuing on, produced by our very own Kurt Van Zant via Sundown Collaborative Theater. Also, shout out to their show that's releasing this weekend. She Kills Monsters, Virtual Realms. Have a great release weekend, friends. Break all of the legs.
Break all the legs. All virtual.
Not a leg.
Yeah, virtual legs.
May none of the tables in your home have a single leg, because they have all been broken in honor of the show. And the show goes super well. But before we go, we want to make sure to shout out our Patreon subscribers. Thank you to Kristen Spavchik, Danica Dobson, Megan Doherty, Atticus Kimbrough, Christopher Walker, Devin Bruner, Allie Barnes, Courtney Marie, Danny Nichols, Kirby and Lucy, and the one and only Lindsay Hall for supporting our Patreon.
Thanks, fam.
Bless you, fam. Bless you for taking us. Yes, thank you for it's because of you that we are able to continue our show.
Thanks.
If you want to join in on the fun and help support us keeping the show going, you can join our Patreon today at patreon.com/whatthefempodcast. You get ad-free episodes, access to our Discord. We're going to be changing things up. Yes, again, bitches, again, with our benefits and trying to do some more special things to offer to you wonderful fans. Last thing, our YouTube channel is live and well, and we are posting videos from our episodes with ads built in. Check them out. And I think that's it. Anything else, Bird?
I don't think so. I think that was it.
Perfect. All right, friends. Thank you for joining us for another episode of What the Femme Podcast. We will talk to you next week. Okay, thanks. Bye.
See ya later.
Avec un cœur innocent. Tu verras ce que je ressens avant qu'il ne soit longtemps. La chance abandonne celui qui ne sait que laisser les cœurs blessés.